Hi friends and happy Sunday. Today I will be working on another circle to square granny square. If you would like to crochet along with me, go ahead and grab your yarn. I'm going to be using two different colors of yarn. I'm going to be using this bluish gray color for the circle and white for the border. You can of course change colors each round if you would like to, or even for the border. So just go ahead and grab whichever color combinations you would like. You'll also need a hook. I'm using a medium weight yarn, so I will be using a 5mm hook, and you will also need scissors and a tapestry needle to sew in your ends. All right, I'm going to start by making a magic ring. If you don't like that method, you can always chain 4 and slip stitch if that is a method that you prefer. I like to use a magic ring for this pattern because I like to eliminate the hole in the center. I think I'm maybe a chain 4 and slip stitch there because you can see it left a bit of a hole where here it didn't. I like the look of being able to pull the magic ring tightly and eliminating the hole in the center of the project. Okay, then to start round 1, we're going to chain 3. That is going to count as our first double crochet. And then I'm going to work 11 double crochet into the magic ring. Okay, so 1, 2, and again, if you don't like to magic ring and you just chain 4 and slip stitch into the first chain, then you would still make your chain 3, and then instead of working your 11 double crochets into the magic ring, you would just work those directly into your circle. Okay, so again, we got a chain 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and one more, making 11. So again, just to recap, I've made my magic ring, I've made my chain 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 double crochets into my magic ring. So now I can pull the magic ring closed and we'll be done with round 1. Hey Hannah, how are you? Thank you so much for the heart me. How are you doing today? All right, I'm going to slip stitch into the top of my chain 3. And I'm going to close round 1. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and jump into round 2. To start round 2, I'm going to make a chain 3. Just like in round 1, our chain 3 is going to be considered a double crochet. And then I'll make another double crochet directly at the base of that chain 3. So since our chain 3 is acting as a double crochet, this is our first set of 2 double crochet. And in the next stitch, so the top of the double crochet from the previous round, I'm going to work 2 double crochets into that space. Hannah, I'm doing well. Thanks so much for asking. Are you still working on your, were you working on a virus shawl, or is that the one that you just finished? I remember you posting one recently. Okay, into the next space, same as we did in the last space, we're gonna work 2 double crochets. And into all other stitches around, working 2 double crochets into each. So if you've ever done any increases, some tote bags, some baby hats or baby beanies, a lot of different projects will start with a circle, and this is basically the same way. So again, the first stitch, we only worked 1 double crochet because our chain 3 was acting as 2 double crochets, but in all other stitches, we're going to work 2 double crochets. So at the end of this round, we'll have a chain 3 and then 23 double crochets. Hi, Missy. Thank you so much for the heart me. All right, continuing to work around. You finished the virus cardigan. Awesome. What are you working on now, Hannah? Okay, so again, still just continuing around, working 2 double crochets into each stitch. All right, continuing around. Stitch and Share, thank you so much for the community feast. That's very sweet. Thank you. Oh, community fest. Excuse me. Sorry. That's what I get for trying to read and talk and crochet, and sometimes it doesn't work out. Okay. So let me just make sure I'm where I'm supposed to be. At this point, I should have 12 sets of 2 double crochet. I should only have 11 worked right now because I think I have 1 more set to work there. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So to work my 12th set into this very last stitch here, go ahead and work my 2 double crochets into that space. Stitch and Share, what are you making? I'm just working on a circle to square like I have up here for today. And I've got 7 made already, so this will be my 8th, and I'll be putting them together to make a blanket soon. But even a baby blanket, I'm thinking I'm gonna need about 60, so I still have a long ways to go. Okay, to end round 2, I'm gonna slip stitch into the top of my chain 3, close it, and then go ahead and jump into round 3. So round 3 will be the last round that I'm going to be making using blue. And then I'll be switching to white for round 4 and round 5. You can, of course, change color each round if you want to. You just chain 1, cut your yarn, pull it through. But again, I'm going to use the same colors for that one. Hannah, you're doing a granny square tank top. That's super cute. I was thinking about doing that because I don't make a lot of wearables, but I do want to make something this summer. So that is on my list. All right, let's go ahead and start by chaining 3. Again, that's going to be considered a double crochet in this round, just like it was in all other rounds. And then I'm going to make a double crochet in that stitch that's directly at the base of our chain 3. Hi, Tanya. Thank you so much for the heart me. How are you doing? All right, into the next space, we're just going to work 1 double crochet. But into the following, we're going to work 2 double crochets. So 1 and a second one into that same space. Okay, working just a double crochet in the next space. And then working 2 in the following. And I'm going to continue to alternate between working 2 double crochets into one space, just like I did here, and 1 in the next until I get all the way around. At the end of this round, I should have a chain 3 and 35 double crochets. All right, let's continue around. Annie said, you're converting the Grace blanket into a granny square. I'm not sure if I'm familiar with the Grace blanket. I'll have to look that up when I'm done. I was working on a tapestry crochet. I designed like a wildflower, I guess, graph or chart. And I'm working on a tapestry crochet. I need to post an update. I'll have that posted this week. And I'm over halfway done, but I just kind of needed a break since that was such a large project. So I started on a new bag pattern yesterday because I had a couple skeins of this really pretty, like muted pink cotton yarn. So that's what I worked on yesterday. I ended up frogging it because I wasn't super happy with it. And then restarted it today, and I'm much happier with it today. But those are the only 2 projects that I've really got going on the hook, other than a couple different projects I have where I'm making squares. All right, guys, we're about halfway through round 3. This is what it should look like so far. If your square is like curled or anything, that's okay. I'm pretty good about keeping my tension pretty even. And I'm using a bit of a, it's not really a thick yarn, but it's kind of a stiff yarn. And that's not always the best thing because I love a really soft yarn, but using a bit of a stiffer yarn is good for this project because it does help keep that shape a little bit. All right, continuing to alternate around 2 double crochets in 1 stitch and then 1 in the next. Kathy said, where can I view from the beginning? I do have a post on my page from a couple months ago. If you would like to check that out, I have a 2-part video. I probably need to update that. I made a lot of videos in the fall but I've got a little bit more experience. I think I'm a little bit better at explaining things now, so I will likely have updated videos within the next couple months. I was thinking about redoing a lot of my videos, but I also have a YouTube. I don't think I have a YouTube video of this, but what I do a lot of times when I go live, I will then later upload my live video to my YouTube channel. So if I don't have this up on my YouTube channel, then I will go ahead and save this live when I'm done and upload it. So if you would like to follow me on YouTube, my name is same as here, Crochet RVA, or there is a link in my TikTok bio. Give me a follow, and then I can upload this onto my YouTube channel. So you can watch from the beginning, or even if you are crocheting along with me, even if you just need a refresher, then you can check it out there. Okay, let me make sure I wasn't doing too much talking and not enough counting. Again, my chain 3 is counted as a double crochet, and then I made a double crochet in the space at the base. This is counted as my first 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet in the next, 2 in the following, 1, 2, 1, 2, and I'm just going to keep going around making sure that I'm following the pattern. Sometimes I will lose my count and end up making like 2 double crochets where I should only do 1, or vice versa. All right, this is my last set of 2 double crochets, and then just working 1 double crochet in that final space. Nina, thank you so much. I really do love these squares. I think they're so pretty, and I think they're really pretty sewn together, because if you sew them together to make a blanket, they end up kind of looking like polka dots, and I think that's super cute. Okay, I'm going to change colors for my 4th round. To do that, I'm just going to chain 1 and snip my yarn, pull it through, and that's my circle. So again, if you've made bags or blankets, or maybe not blankets, bags, or like hats, or anything that started with a circle, then you're already familiar with those first few rounds. But round 4 and round 5 is where it's really going to start turning into a square. Okay, I'm going to tie on my white yarn. It doesn't matter which stitch you pick. I'm just going to pick this one at random to tie on my white yarn. And then we'll jump into round 4. This pattern only has 5 rounds total. So we are almost done. And excuse that noise, my dishwasher just got done, and I'm sitting in my kitchen. So, okay. So what I like to do is I like to start in my corner space. So we'll essentially be in this space here. So what we're going to do to square it in is we're going to work 2 double crochets, then 1 double crochet, 2 halves, 2 singles, 2 halves, another double crochet, and then 2 double crochet. And that's going to make each side. So again, 2 double crochet, a double crochet, 2 halves, 2 singles, 2 halves, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and continuing to repeat that for all 4 sides. So I'm going to start with a chain 3. That's going to be considered a double crochet in this pattern. And then I'm going to just work another double crochet into that same space. So where I tied on my yarn and made my chain 3, working another double crochet, and I'm counting that as 2 double crochet. Into the next space, I'm working a double crochet. And because we want it to flatten out, we're going to larger stitches, and then we're going to go to smaller stitches, because again, we want it flat, and these stitches here are a little bit higher because of the circle. So into each of the next 2 stitches, we're going to work 1 half double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. All right. Now this is the smallest part. We're going to work a single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. And I weave my ends in a couple different ways. A lot of times I'll bring a smaller hook and just whip this through the back loop. I did not bring a smaller hook over here with me, so I am just crocheting over those ends. So that's why you see my tail kind of close to my work. And then as I make my stitches, I'm just crocheting over that end to kind of hold it in. All right, we're working a half double crochet in one stitch and a half double crochet in the next. Then we're going to work towards our next corner, and we're going to do that by working a double crochet into the next stitch and then 2 double crochet into the following, and that's going to be the start of this corner. Okay, I'll lay it down. So this is our first side. Again, you can see it's nice and flat. So again, that's a chain 3 and a double crochet, half, half, single, single, half, half, double, and 2 doubles. Now I want to start working my next side. So to do that, I'm going to chain 2. My chain 2 is going to allow me to turn my work. And now as I repeat this process, I'm going to be working in this direction to make my second side. Okay, so let's work 2 double crochets into that same space where we just worked the other 2 double crochets. Then a double crochet in the next space, a half double crochet in each of the next 2, okay, a single crochet in the next 2 spaces, a half double crochet in the next 2 spaces, then working a double, and then working 2 double crochets in that next space. And I can do it a little bit slower in the next round for anyone who's crocheting along, but again, I will upload this live onto my YouTube. So if you wanted a recap or to watch this later, the good thing about watching it live is if you have any questions, you can put it in the comments and let me know. But unfortunately, you can't stop, rewind. So that is the good thing about watching it back later. It's because you'll have the opportunity to start, stop, rewind, etc. All right, let's chain 2. Again, our chain 2 is going to allow us to turn our work and start working in this direction. And we're going to make the first stitches in our third side. It's going to be 2 double crochets into the same space where we made our previous 2 double crochets. All right, friends, and if you guys are working on a crochet project, let me know. I'm always looking for some inspo, or I'm always just interested in what people are making. Okay, working a double crochet in the next space, a half double crochet in each of the next 2, a single crochet in the next 2, a half double crochet in the next 2. Hopefully you guys are getting this pattern down by now. Then a double crochet, and then 2 double crochet in the following. Then we just have 1 round left and we are done. A granny square skirt. I've never seen a granny square skirt made, but that sounds really cute. If it's on your page, I will definitely check it out. Hannah, I'm not in any of the crochet discords. If you have any recommendations, let me know. I do see people talking about them, or I'll see things like on Reddit and things like that occasionally. But I'm pretty much only on TikTok. I have an Instagram, but I don't use it very often, and Reddit. So I would love other ways to see other people's work and, you know, connect with more people. Okay, let's chain 2. Again, that's going to allow us to work on our last side, and then we're going to work this way. So 2 double crochets into the same space where we worked our previous 2 double crochets, and continuing to repeat a double crochet, a half double crochet in each of the next 2 spaces, a single crochet in the next 2 spaces, half double crochet in the next 2 spaces, then a double crochet, and then where we started with our chain 3 and double crochet. That was the first side of our corner. I just scooted those stitches over so I've got a little bit of room to work into, and we're going to end this round by working 2 double crochets. Megan, you said hillside throw pattern. I haven't seen that, but I'm definitely going to Google. Always learn so many different patterns from you guys. All right, chain 2, then slip stitch into the top of our chain 3, and then we are done with round 4. Hannah, you said you recommend Maggie and Wheeler's discords. Okay, definitely going to check that out. Sonia, you said you have nothing on this page, basically 24 squares, the amount of rows based on your waist side. Okay, that sounds super cute. All right, so technically at this part, or at round 4, you technically have made a circle into a square, but I like to add a 4th round just because I think adding that border just highlights the circle a little bit more. And then while this does make a square, the ends can be, I don't know, a little bumpy, not quite straight. I think adding the 5th row, it just looks better. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to start by working a chain 3. Sonia said, what's the name of this pattern? This is just a circle to square. I don't know of a pattern, like, I don't think it has a particular name. I've just always called it a circle to square. Okay, now we're going to just work double crochets. This is literally the easiest out of all the rows. I'm just making my chain 3, which is a double crochet, and then working a double crochet into each space all the way until I get over to my corner. I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 stitches to work into. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. I'm only working 11 because again, my chain 3 in this first side counts as a double crochet. And let's just work 1 double crochet into each stitch until we get to our corner. And you guys, my doggy's been good. He likes to bark at the ice machine, and we've been using, obviously, the ice machine a lot. It's been super hot out here in Richmond. It was like almost 100 degrees if it didn't hit 100 degrees out here in Richmond, Virginia. So we've definitely been using a lot of ice, and then he's been doing a lot of barking at the ice machine. I was pretty worried about him barking during this live, but I think he's just chilling and resting on the couch because he's tired after our walk in the heat. Okay. So we've worked our double crochets all the way across, and now we've come to our corner. We're going to work our corner the same way we worked our corners in the previous rounds, and that is by working 2 double crochets. Then you'll chain 2. Again, our chain 2 is going to allow us to turn our work and work in this direction, and then work 2 more double crochets into that space. Hannah, do you have the exact names of the Discord? It looks like Sana Tinnacliffs, I'm sure I'm butchering that name, sorry, is wanting to look up those Discords as well. Okay, let's work our 12 double crochets, again working 1 double crochet into each stitch all the way across until we get over here into our corner. Hey Missy, good evening. How are you? How's the weather where everyone else is? Are you guys having a super hot weekend like we are out here in RVA? I feel like it was cold and then all of a sudden it was hot. Like we didn't have much of a spring. It just was cold and then hot. And we've had tons of rain recently, which I'm definitely not complaining about that. It's been helping the garden, but it's made it difficult to get outside because it's either super hot or rainy. And we just kind of skipped over spring and the nice kind of cool spring days. All right, again, continuing to work my double crochets until I get over to my corner. Hey Missy, thanks for asking about my hike. It was really nice. We ended up going on the, I'm trying to think of the exact name. But basically we hiked to this really pretty waterfall, but the hike starts at the top of the mountain and you go down to the waterfall. So going down was a really nice hike, but then we were a little bit tired by the time we got down there and we had to go back up. So going back up was rough. My heart rate was up, like my Fitbit was yelling at me and telling me I was in cardio because going back up was rough, but the weather was nice. It wasn't too hot, especially because where we were hiking had a lot of trees. So I don't think I've been converted to a hiker necessarily, but it was a lot of fun. All right, guys, so I finished half of round 5, and this is why I do recommend, again, even though you've already made a circle into a square in round 4, you can see here that adding that border just looks a little bit nicer. It frames it in a little bit, and then the edges are smoother, so it's going to be easier to connect your squares together if you do go ahead and make the other rounds. Now, if you just want them smaller because whatever you're working on, that's perfectly fine. And if you blocked it, then, you know, those sides would straighten out a little bit. But I just like the look of doing a 5th round, which is why I always recommend it. All right, into our corner, same as always, 2 double crochets, chain 2, and then 2 more double crochets. Marge, thank you so much. I know these are so pretty. Hannah, thank you so much. A Magical Unicorn, I follow her on TikTok. She's another RVA local. All right, so 2 double crochets, chain 3, 2 double crochets. Missy, did you do anything fun this weekend? KWL, you said what yarn are you using? This is just Loops and Thread, Michael's house brand. I don't remember the colors. In real life, this is a bit of a bluish gray, although I think on camera it looks a little bit just kind of like almost maybe a periwinkle or a true blue. And I don't have the tag. I don't remember which color it was, but I do like this yarn for this project. Again, it's not the softest yarn ever, but that's okay because sometimes when you're not using a soft yarn, it's a little bit stiffer. It's good for this because it does help it keep its shape. Okay, again, I'm just working my 12 double crochets until I get over here into my corner. Said it does look periwinkle. I noticed that when I turn the camera on to go live, because when I have the camera on and I'm just shooting a video or a photo, I feel like the color is true. And then when I go live, the color changes. Because I know I was working on something that was purple and everyone said, that's not purple, that's blue. And in person, it looked very blue, but on camera, it looked very purple, but on camera, it did look blue. So it's just like that sometimes. Okay, I worked my 12 double crochets. Now I'm working into my corner. So same as all other corners, I'm gonna work 2 double crochets, a chain 2 so I can turn my work, and then 2 more double crochets in the same stitch. Oh, Hannah, sorry, I should have specified. It's their Impeccable yarn. When I say Loops and Thread, I don't think I've ever bought Loops and Thread other than that one type. And my Michaels is really small and doesn't have a lot of variety. So that's pretty much the only Loops and Thread that I've gotten, which is pretty comparable to like Big Twist or Lovecraft's Paint Box yarn. Just kind of a value yarn, but maybe a step up from like Red Heart. Okay, working my 12 double crochets until I get to my last corner and then we will be done. Z said you ran around a little bit yesterday and had a good time. Good, I'm glad you had a good weekend. I'm off of work for the next few days. I took the whole week off, but I do think I'm gonna have to go in one day for a meeting. I think probably either Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. It won't be tomorrow and it won't be Friday. So that's just kind of how it is. But I'm hoping we'll get out, get some good day trips. Like I said, we went to Shenandoah to hike this weekend. I think we're gonna try, oh, sorry you guys. I was just saying how good he was being and he's barking at the refrigerator. He'll calm down in just a second. Riley, stop, baby. Oh, Lord. Okay, Riley, it's done. All right, sorry guys. I was just saying he was being good, and then the ice machine made ice, and then he had to let us all know he was here. So sorry about that. Hannah, you like charisma? I haven't checked it. Riley, stop, baby. I've never checked that out, but it definitely will. Is it smooth, or is it one of the ones that has a bit of a texture to the yarn? All right, let's work our last corner, 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. So Zelly said, where will I be able to see the beginning of the square? I have a 2-part video on my TikTok, but I will be uploading this live onto my YouTube channel as well. So if you don't already follow me on YouTube, then either look me up at Crochet RVA or click the link in my bio. And then once I'm done, I will upload it. It might take an hour or two. It does sometimes take a while for me to download the videos. And then upload it onto YouTube, but I will be uploading this so you guys can see the beginning, or even if you did crochet through the whole thing, if you just needed a refresher. Okay, I'm going to slip stitch in the top of my chain 3 to close, chain 1, and then I'm going to snip my yarn and pull through. KWL, he said, what size hook? I am using a 5mm hook, because this is a medium weight yarn, but just use whatever hook works for the weight of yarn that you're using. I've also made these in a like DK yarn. If you look like my very earliest videos is a circle to square made out of pink and white, and that I use DK. So it works with the smaller yarn. It's just, of course, going to make smaller squares. Hannah said it's smoother, but not like simply soft smooth. Okay. I'll check that out. I was going to go to Michael's soon anyway to see if they had the big twists, but I think they're not carrying big twists. I think they're just going to have big twist yarn, but under the Loops and Thread brand, if that's my understanding. Giselle, I'll just call it a circle to square. I don't have a whole lot of videos on there, and then I'll have a thumbnail of this on there as well. All right, guys, that pretty much is it. At this point, I would need to block it, although my tension was pretty good, but I would block that out to make sure that it keeps its square shape. If you have some curling or anything like that, no big deal. Blocking it should prevent that. Like I said, this is now my 8th square, so I'll be putting these together to make a little polka dotty blanket. But these would be super cute as blankets, as pillows, you know, really any sort of project, like a 13 square bag or something like that would be cute as well. Hannah said they think they're doing both loops and threads and big twists. You're right, they wouldn't be able to sell the same yarn under loops and thread. Well, I'm going to check it out this weekend, maybe this week since I'm off, and I'll report back if my store has any. And thank you all for watching. Again, I do have a 2-part video on my TikTok, and I will be uploading this onto YouTube as well. But thanks for everyone who was able to join me today. Hope you all have a really good afternoon, and I will see you back in a couple days. Bye.